ever find that you struggle sometimes with, not like a struggle, but sometimes you doubt yourself? Sometimes you ask yourself questions about your life or whatever you're doing for life. Is this what I should be doing with my life? Am I on the right track? Am I wasting my time here? Is it worth it in the end? Yeah, is it worth it? And I decided to do this video because I also go through the same thing, and it's also a question that I get a lot from my clients. So how to deal with self-doubt, and more specifically also how to trust yourself. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm glad you are here today. So the fact that you're asking yourself those questions, I ask myself those questions a lot. So is this what this coaching, is this what I should be doing with my life? Is this it for me? Like, is this the end for me? Should I be somewhere else? Am I wasting my time? And I believe the problem is if you're not asking yourself such questions. Because then if you don't ask yourself such questions, it's easy to stay at a comfort zone, at a standstill. Yeah? It's easy to be redundant. But I realize every time I ask myself those questions, every time I also come up with new answers as to why I need to keep doing what I'm doing, as to why I'm worthy, as to why what I'm doing is important. Sometimes you need that reminder, especially from yourself. So, and one of the ways to stop doubting yourself is to tap in and remind yourself of your value and your worth. But by the time you're reminding yourself your worth and your value, you also must know it first. Yeah? Why do people need to hear from you? Why do you deserve their time? Why do you need to take their money? Yeah? You have to ask yourself those questions. And it's not even about knowing the answers, it's having the right questions that will give you even better answers than what you're expecting from yourself. If, for example, you are at a level where, even if it's in relationships or whatever it is, sometimes you can ask yourself those questions. Is this the right man for me? Is this a marriage I should be in? Is this a relationship that is really working for me? Is this where I need to be in life? Is this a job I need to be doing at this point in my life? Am I where I want to be? And it's good to ask yourself those questions, because sometimes you can start, let's say you are selling yourself at 10 bob, yeah? And maybe you've really grown to a level you can sell yourself at 100 bob. But if you don't ask yourself those questions, you might probably find yourself at 10 bob all the way, whereas your value is for 100 bob. So I say, if you ask yourself those questions, you are on the right track. It's normal. It's part of the process. And maybe when you ask yourself those questions, that's when you realize, you know what, my value has grown. You know what, I don't deserve to be in this relationship. You know what, I need to ask for more from my spouse. You know what, I need to ask for a promotion. Or, you know what, I am doing what I am supposed to be doing, and I am where I need to be. I have to keep asking myself, okay, Muthoni, what are your goals? Where are you at this point in your life? Is this what you need to be doing? Okay, Muthoni, you say that this is your calling in life. This is your passion. Is it really your passion? Are you sure? And the way you're struggling to wake up, those conversations we have in our heads. And I also have to keep reminding myself that your passion can change depending at whatever time you are in life. Sometimes you want to do this. Sometimes maybe you will be compelled or you'll be driven towards something else, and it's totally okay. So the thing that will help you answer those questions well is to remind yourself your value, your worth. Is that thing that you're doing, is that relationship you're in, whatever it is it in alignment with your values? Are you downgrading yourself? Yeah? Are you? Or are you doing, are you at the right place at the right time? Are you doing wonderful so far for yourself? And now when you ask yourself those questions, if you had sold yourself short, or you had downgraded yourself, or you had started taking shit, now you can be able to remind yourself, I am Muthoni, you're better than that. Mary, you're better than that. Ever wake up? A lot of times my Kikuyu inner voice wakes me, especially when it comes to do with money. Muthoni, you are not charging that client that much, And I like asking myself those questions. At first, At first, those questions used to stress me, because I was like, the fact that I'm asking myself these questions, it means I must be doubting myself. But then self-doubt is, I want to say, self-doubt is for human beings. It's human beings who doubt themselves, and it's okay. The problem is not you doubting yourself. The problem is you staying there in the self-doubt and actually acting from a place of doubting yourself. But if you doubt yourself, ask those questions, but you're able to remind yourself who you are, why you do what you do, why you're valuable, why you're important. Now you're on the right track. That is what we call personal development. It's not just staying at the top, but it's even during those moments when you feel low about yourself, when you feel less, when you think less about yourself, you can be able to rise above that. You can be able to call yourself out and pick the pieces. That's actually when you know you're healed. I did that video of how to know you're healing or that you're healed. Those things that used to pressure you so much, those things that used to pull you down so much, no longer do the same. When you find yourself in a situation where you're pulling behind, you're doubting yourself so much, you can be able to rise above it. You can be able to pick yourself up again. So the thing that will help you answer those self-doubt questions, and the reason we doubt ourselves so much is because we do not know your value. You do not know your worth. And sometimes we find very wonderful opportunities. You find an opportunity to work in overseas. You find an opportunity where in a beautiful relationship, you find an opportunity where people want to really pay you for your value. But because you don't know your value, you sabotage every opportunity you get. You sabotage those job opportunities. You sabotage a beautiful relationship with a beautiful partner. You sell yourself short when you go for meetings with clients that are willing to pay you in dollars. Let me just say dollars. You quote so less. Your quote is so less, they even feel scared. They even don't want to work with you. Let me give an example. There are things that when you cheapen, people think it doesn't have much value. Yeah. I have been there where I want to work with people, professionals, but they quote such a little figure, a small figure, and I'm like, no, this one will not get the job done. Yeah. And probably you're there thinking, when I quote little money, they'll give me the job. They will probably think you don't have the capacity of what it takes. Another thing I realized, I have people that work for me, and I keep even hiring people for short periods of time depending on the project I'm working on. And sometimes when people underquote, I feel like I will not be able to demand also a lot of value from them because I'm also paying them kidogo money. I'm not saying that we want to pay millions, no. You get the point. So sometimes we get very huge opportunities. People want to pay us for our value, but we underquote so much. We sell ourselves short so much because other people can see our value, but we don't. On the flip side, other people can see our value, but the fact that we don't see our value, they choose to do whatever they want with us. They choose to give us peanuts. They choose to treat us anyhow. Live in a relationship, in your marriage, they never take you on dates, they never buy you, they never even give you their time, but because you don't know your value. So it's not for people to know your value, it's for you to know your value, to carry yourself with that value, to stop selling yourself short, to walk like someone who has that value, to be able to sit in meetings where, as much as they feel they will intimidate you, at the back of your mind, you need to be on that table. You deserve to be on that table. Yeah, to be able to quote our worth and our value. I had a couple of months ago, I doubled my coaching prices. And another lady asked me, Muthoni, just a genuine question. Why did you think you want to double your coaching prices? And I remember I told her that time when I was charging that fee, I was just starting. That was, I think, over a year ago. I was just starting my coaching work. But at this point, I have done so many certificates. By the I'm still in school reading about mental health, about trauma, about what I'm talking about. So I've improved myself so much. I've worked on myself. I've improved so much. My value right now is not the money I was charging when I started. It's double that, because I'm also feel I am on that level. I also know my value has risen. So may God help us, and may we also be able to recognize our value so we don't sell ourselves short, so you don't wear yourself out, so you don't spend your best years working for people who don't appreciate you, your best years in relationships that are draining you more. Yeah, so you can start by joining my bootcamp, the upcoming bootcamp, how to raise your value and your worth as a woman. You can start from there. If you question your value, if you question your worth, if you feel shy to ask for a promotion at work, if you feel even shy or you're not able to ask for what you want in a relationship, in your marriage, with your in-laws, whoever it is, or you're not able to quote your exact value, you always undervalue because you feel like you don't measure up, please join my bootcamp. It's gonna be worthwhile, I can tell you that. People who have been in my camps know I give so much. I give so much. I'm there for them 24/7 for the 7 days. So it's starting from 5th to 12th September. That is next week. So be part of this wonderful camp. Please book your slot. I have limited slots. I don't want a big crowd, a very big crowd this time around. Yes, let me show you, let me teach you how to raise your worth and your value as a woman. Let me teach you how to go for what you want and how to stop selling yourself short. Come, let's do this. Yeah, so I'll leave my contacts down below and my email address, but just as a reminder, the reason we doubt ourselves, going through self-doubt, is because we are human beings. It's part of the process. But the question is, do you sit in that doubt and continue to function from a place of doubt? Or are you able to pull yourself up from that doubt and remind yourself your value, your importance, what you want out of life, why you deserve that seat at that table? Now that's the question. Anyway, or now that's the question, or now that's the difference. If you're not able to get out of the self-doubt, now you really need help. If you're able to remind yourself, you know who I am. I am that Muthoni. I am that Nancy. I am that Mary. I can do this. I was born for this, and they deserve to pay me for my value. If you're able to get yourself, pull yourself out of that doubt, then you're doing great for yourself. Bye guys. See you at the camp for those who want to raise their value and their self-worth.